am Jay Christensen, and I will be doing my presentation on my great-grandma Bessie. So let's get started. Her name is Bessie Ludlow Christensen. She was born January 1st, 1917, and she was born in Benjamin, Utah. She died January 1st, 1998, and that was in Bountiful, Utah. For her family, her father's name was Enoch Ludlow. Her mom's name was Maisie Hand. She had 3 brothers and 2 sisters. One of her sisters died close to when she was born. So, she died a little after she was born, which was sad to hear about. Some interesting stories about my grandma. In 1918, some parents of 6 children died, and the bishop of the ward that they were in needed people to take in the children, and my grandma Bessie's mom took in one, and my grandma Bessie always introduced her as her sister. She was 11, the girl that they adopted. She was 11 when she came to live with with Bessie's mom. That was weird saying that. She was married when she was 16 and her husband was 17. That's a really young age, and I was like, whoa, if I got married right now, that'd be weird. They got married sometime in November. She was in 10th grade, so me right now, and she didn't finish school after that. They had 3 kids, 2 boys and 1 girl. I feel bad for that girl, because boys can be a lot to handle, believe me. I wouldn't know being one. People thought they got married because they had to. She never actually learned how to drive. After they were married, they moved to Arizona Oatman, I can speak. She started work in a gold mine. Her husband started work in a gold mine, because they moved to, this mining place. 2 years, maybe 3, they moved to Los Angeles, California. Then they moved to Long Beach. They stayed there till they moved back to Utah in 1977. All the children were born in California. She took really good care of herself, really good care of herself. She didn't want to move back to Utah. She grew up in a small farming town, and she loved the city. She grew up in a small little town, and then she moved to California, and it's a city, and she loves the city, and she didn't want to leave. So she lived in California and Arizona from 1935 to 1977. That's a long time, in my opinion. She never got attached to a house. She said, it's a house, I want to be here, I want to be where my kids are. That's why she moved back to Utah, because all her kids lived in Utah, so she moved back to Utah for them. And in the end, she was living in a really small home, because it was just her, so she never really got attached to a house, and I thought that was really cool. She taught my grandpa how to give talks in church, starting at the age 5, and that's young. She would make him memorize it. He would have to repeat it over and over again, and he had to memorize it completely before he gave the talk. When she was growing up in elementary school, there was a little school in her hometown. It was the only school, and it was pretty small. and it went up to 8th grade. It would get really cold, and the girls had to wear dresses. And she thought it was stupid. So her and her friend decided to wear overalls to school. So they did. She said, "Why do we have to wear dresses? It's freezing out there. There is 3 feet of snow." That'd be pretty cold, wearing a freaking dress in 3 feet of snow. That's freezing. And so the principal said, okay, and the girls were allowed to wear overalls, but only in the winter. But they were allowed to wear overalls, and that's kind of a crazy thing that because of something she did, the school changed. So she never judged people. She was always really nice. She didn't judge, and I admire that. They always had dinner at 5:30 every day. Didn't matter what was going on. Every day it was at 5:30. She was an outstanding cook. Like, my grandpa loved her meals, and like, my grandpa's a really good cook. My dad's a really good cook, and surprisingly, whenever I cook, I'm a really good cook. So I guess that's just been passed down. She would make big meals, and like anybody would come over. Like, there was always enough food. Like, they never ran out of food. And one of those reasons was because my great grandpa Waldo, he went hungry as a kid. Like, some nights he would go to bed without having dinner, and he didn't want his kids to ever go hungry or ever feel like that. So they made sure they always had food. She said the only thing that she had to do was have a clean house. The house was always spotless. Totally, completely clean. She was really happy in the LDS church, and was a loyal advisor for 9 years, and they loved her, as she was their mother or grandma or something, like, seriously. This person is basically important to me because, well, she's my great grandma and she's a great inspiration. She was also who I was named after. She was an amazing person and did incredible things in her lifetime. Like, overall, I hear all these stories about her and they're all just amazing, like everything she does. And she's a really good person, and I'm glad to be her great-grandchild. So yeah, that's my presentation on my great-grandma Bessie. So